and welcome to Hixxy Studio. In this video I am going to show you how to make this beautiful but simple happy birthday card using teal foundations card from Creative Expressions, some white stamping card, and we're going to use the cut and emboss petite florals folder from Crafter's Companion. We're going to be using the Elizabeth Craft Designs Rhododendron Die. Now I know mine doesn't look like a rhododendron, but you don't always have to make the exact flower from these dies. And also we're going to use the Mini Expressions Stacked Happy Birthday from Creative Expressions. Okay, now the first thing we need to do is to create this background to be able to create this texture. So we need a piece of the teal card. Now I am going to use the whole card, because whole A4, even though we only need this, because I have also cut out the flowers from it, so it's always worth doing a little bit extra. So what I'm going to do is I am going to apply a thin coat of gesso. So I'm going to take some of my gesso and put it into one of these little pots here, because what I don't want to be doing is putting it on sort of neat, if you like. I want to dilute it so that this is quite wet, so we're only getting a light coating, splashing everywhere. So here we go. So you can see what I mean. So this is now going on nice and little fibre off of my brush, not to worry. Nice and thin, so we can still pretty much make the card out from underneath the colour, but we have this kind of whitewash effect on the top. A bit more water. Okay, now this will obviously need to be put to one side to dry. I have got one that I made previously, but it's as simple as that. Literally a thin coat of gesso over the top to create that whitewash look, and then we are going to pass it through the folder. So I'm going to put this one off to one side, to dry. I am going to clean up my mat so that I'm not getting gesso all over the place. Now the one I have prepared, I was a little heavier handed with the gesso, but you can still see the colour through. So what I need to do is to cut a piece of card that will fit our folder. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark that with a pencil. Doesn't really matter if I mark it on the front, because I'm not going to use that bit. So mark it with a pencil and then just chip a little bit off. Now the sandwich in a Gemini, you will obviously need to check if you have a different machine as to what sandwich you will need to use. But for a Gemini, what we are going to use is our cutting plate. And I'm lucky I've got a nice new shiny one. Then we're going to put our magnetic mat in. We are going to do a little bit caught there. Excuse me. Oh, come on out. If I don't take these out, that will end up embossing into my next piece of card. There we go. Off it pops. We're going to put our piece of card inside. We're going to put that on top of the magnetic, and then our other clear plate on the top, and then we're going to pass that through our Gemini. And these folders are really lovely because not only do they emboss beautifully, they also cut the lovely little aperture in the middle. So kind of do two jobs in one go. So to turn the plate over, ready for next time. And put this there, and there we go. Interesting. I obviously didn't clean that out completely, so I've still got the last bit from the last one. Not to worry, it's still cut really well. Just make sure I've taken these bits out. Okay, so you can see that we have our little bits, a few little bits stuck in. Get my pokey tool to poke those through. Probably because I haven't cleaned out it previously from when I cut it, but they popped out. Right, so what I am going to do now is I am going to take my sanding block. I'm not going to chop this down yet. I am now going to sand over the top. And what that does is it now takes off all that gesso. Now be careful because obviously the card, particularly around here, is going to be a little bit more fragile. So you do need to apply a little bit of pressure to be able to get the gesso to move, but be careful around these little bits, because what you don't want to be doing is then breaking them off. Okay, so here we go. And I must admit, I love this teal. Oh, it's not being very careful. Less haste, more speed. I never really know what that means, but anyway. Here we go. We're getting there now. This is a really lovely technique to do with any embossing folder, not just a cut and emboss folder, but any embossing folder. Literally allows you to create this effect, this sort of shabby chic, worn effect. Now, what I do want to do is I do want to just go around the very edge to make sure the very edge is defined. I'm just going to go along a few bits, and I am going to just make sure that is defined. Okay, so I just clean all that dusty stuff up. Okie dokie. So now I am going to just trim this, and I have got on this one, I obviously pushed the card in a little bit harder, but I'm kind of got very little to play with there, but that's okay with it. So I am going to put it through my trimmer, and I'm just going to trim the very barest minimum off that I can to ensure that I still have the outline on there. So moral of that is to make sure that you push your piece of card as high up into the folder as you can get it, and that gives you just a little bit more room to play with, because now I'm having to cut this very, very close to the edge in order for it to look fairly even. I might just leave a little bit more on the sides. I can get away with that, but I'm going to have to do the same very close at the bottom. Whoop, a little bit. Very close there. And then we'll go again, we'll leave a little bit more at the side here. Yeah, so there is our cut and emboss piece. Now, this will go on to our base card here, which, if I remember rightly, it's a roughly 7x5. They've gone 7¼ by 5¼ so just over a 7, sort of traditional 7x5. I think that was to allow me enough room to have a little bit of a matte layer on here. So I am going to, now, did you see what happened there? What I need to do, and I forgot to do, is to actually rub this as well as clearing up my mat. I needed to make sure I'd taken off the excess off of the actual embossed piece, because I just tipped it onto my white card. Not to worry, it's salvageable. Okay, so we are going to eyeball our white layer, and what this will allow is it will show around the outside, but because of the aperture, it will also show in the middle of the card, giving us a lovely place to put our sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to there, and then we're going to chop down there. And so we have the base of our card. So I'm going to glue that together so that it's done, and we can then put that to one side while we do the other little bit. So let's get our glue. Hopefully, it won't take too much effort to get. Oh no, my first time this time. Okay, let's get this glued down to the base card. Oh, looks like I'm molting there. Old age. Ah, distracted, and now that's not straight. There we go. On the back, and then you can see that lovely teal card on the back. Make sure you put glue on those little protruding bits to make sure that they are well secured down. I usually do those and then sort of go around the edge of the aperture and then go and do the rest of the card. Okay, right. Now you can either put it that way or you can put it that way. I've done it this way because obviously I want the flowers coming down here. So but it really doesn't matter which way round that you do it. Okay, so that's our base card, and we can put that over to the side for a minute, and we can then concentrate on the flowers. Now, this rhododendron die comes with all these pieces. So this is for you to build a traditional rhododendron on. These are your leaves. These are the traditional stamens for the little flowers. But the only bit that we're going to use for this particular project is this one. Now, I have a total of 14 flowers on there, and I have 3 layers on each flower. So I have done a little bit of getting myself ahead, but I am going to show you how this cuts. I'm going to use this bit up here. And I quite like the fact that because they are small and you don't want to be running some, I mean, obviously I've done this run it through quite a few times to get the number I wanted, but there are 8 flower heads on this particular plate. So it does reduce the number of times you need to run it through. I mean, I just was being a bit faffy and having 3 layers, making work for myself, but I think it looks pretty to have lots of layers. So we need some low tack tape. There we go, there's the end. We need our lovely new cutting plate. Seems a shame to put into it. Ooh. Right, so cutting plate, tape to hold it down. We need our, excuse me, reaching over here. We need our plastic shim, and then I put the magnetic, and then I put the other clear plate on top. And just make sure that I've lined those up. And then that goes through the Gemini. And it comes through the other end. Oh, left the lid off of that. I've been moaning about myself in a minute for that. Turn on. Whoops, take that off first. Turn on plate. Ready? Okay, so here we go. As you can see, it cuts really well. Oh, away, and they just literally pop out like that. Okay, so what I did was to cut them out in the white and the teal as well, and then stick them together. So what I'm going to do now, before I do any kind of shaping, is I'm just going to stick 4 of these on top of these 4. The others I've already prepped. So I'm going to use a little bit of glue on each of these. Now, I'm about to do a little bit of shaping on them, and to be honest with you, it is easier when the glue is dry, but we will give it a go with some wet glue. It's not going to be completely disastrous, but it just means they will, particularly the top layer will wibble and wobble a little bit. Okay, so I just realised that I should just offset that slightly, not completely moved it. That's okay. We can time to go back. There we go. So we can still see the white underneath. Oh, and the last one. Glue lid back on. And again, just slightly offset it off the teal so we can still see the white underneath. Okay, right. Let's see how we get on. So the flower forming mat and a ball tool. Don't need a huge one. We'll probably go. Ooh, I've got another one slightly up from that. Yeah, I've used this one. Okay, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to press down in the middle so that it starts to curl up. And that's all I've done for these flowers, is just curled them up slightly to give them a little bit of dimension. Again, literally. And like, this is why I said it's better when the glue is dry, because the problem I've got at the moment is that glue is wet and the top layer of the flower is going to slide slightly. But we seem to be doing okay. Oh, there we go. That one moved. That one moves, as if to say, you're not going to get completely away with it. There we go. Now, I have already got some done. I'm just going to add all sorts of things cut here. Let's move those out of the way. More actually. Use those if I need it. Another one on. Right now, these look really quite. They are. I did many. I say many. A few years ago, I did some wedding invitations, and the stuff I needed had all these gems on, and I didn't want them. I spent ages picking them off, but I wasn't going to get rid of them. So they are perfect for flower centers like this. So I'm just going to put another dab of the acrylic glue in the middle, and we are going to find some ones that haven't got too much glue still attached. There. I'm sure everybody has stashes of gems, or you could put little pearls in the middle, or if you've got glitter glues, you could build up little bits of glitter glue in the middle. There we go, that's those done. Let's put those away. You don't have to use the stamens that come with the dies. So, okay, now it's just a case of us building this up. So I am going to bring this in. I am going to grab my bow, as I want to do. So I'm going to put the bow here. Once the bow is down, then I can start to build the flower cascade over it. Do I want it that way, or do I want it that? No, we'll go that way. That way or that way? Oh, such decisions. Okay, we need some glue gel. Right, here we go, glue gel. We are going to, first of all, we're going to put our ribbon down. Okay, and then I always like to refer back to what I've done before, because I know when I've always prep these things, I do fiddle and faff a little bit, and it does take me a while to find the best way to do it. So that looks like I've got one here. So again, glue gel, perfect for this. And it would be great if those were dry as well, but they're not. That's okay. And then we've got flower off to the side here, and then another one off to the side there. Might have to move that one, and then one in the middle. The good thing about glue gel is it does give you that little bit of flexibility. It doesn't dry straight away. I mean, you could use hot glue if you wanted to, but it doesn't dry straight away, so you get the time to be able to position the things where you want them to be. So now I've got the ones around the bow. It's just a case of just building them up where I think we could go. I'll go under that little bit there. Oh, there. It's going under there. One here. And another one here. It's quite nice to have the able to sort of layer them around. So I'm going to put one there. I'll turn it around because it's nice there. And again, just a case of deciding how you would like your, we don't need them all, flowers to be. There. Do I want that other one anywhere? Do you know what? I think what I might do, this is one I don't think I shaped. So I'm just going to pull him out, move him out of the way. And I'm going to use this one that I did shape in there instead because it will give more dimension. That's a bit better. Okie dokie. Right, so last thing to do then is the sentiment. So we are going to cut from this card the happy birthday sentiment. We are going to cut, there it is. Whew, whew. Use that a little bit there. Okay, and back to our plate. I'm going to take that down. Plastic, magnetic, and that one through. Keep those flowers for another time. Now I have already, so that you don't have to watch me cut that 3 times, I have already cut it out of white stamping card and the teal from Teal Foundations card from Creative Expressions. So let's just push this one out. Because I layered the flowers, I wanted to layer the sentiment too. And because I layered the flowers with all 3, I thought I would do the happy birthday too. So find the corner bit. There we go. Pull that out. Comes. There we go. There's our happy birthday. So we're going to put that one at the back, then the white one, and then this one. And put that to one side and put that out of the way. I'm going to grab a piece of that stamping card's got ink on it, so we use that as our scrap blot and find my there we go, my tweezers, and we'll start with this one and glue, and I'm just going to put glue over the back, and the reason I've got the bit here is I'm going to blot that before I put it on here. Move slightly that way. There's our first layer. Same with the white layer. Again, blot it on the scrap. Slightly offset it off of the blue. And then last layer is the teal, because that's the one that's really going to stand out. And again, blot it. Whoa, try not to drop it. Blot it on scrap and then offset it again. So you've got a nice little drop shadow on your happy birthday. Put it back on the glue. And there you have it. Happy birthday card using, quick, get rid of that. Using Crafter's Companion Petite Florals Cut and Emboss folder and the Rhododendron Die from Elizabeth Crafts. Thank you.